Welcome back to this explainer. Today we're diving into something I like to call the English superpower toolbox, mastering modal verbs. You know, if you've ever felt stuck trying to get the exact level of politeness right, or maybe you weren't sure how to express a possibility versus an absolute obligation, well, you are in the exact right place. We are going to transform these basic grammar rules into some seriously effective communication tools.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a super quick comparison. Take the phrase, I swim, right? It's a simple fact, a routine. But watch what happens when we drop in just one tiny little helping word, can. Boom, I can swim. Suddenly, you aren't just stating a plain old action anymore. You're declaring a personal capability. It totally shifts the vibe of the sentence.
So to get a little technical just for a sec, modal verbs are essentially these small helping verbs that park themselves right in front of your main verb. Think of them almost like modifiers. They add instant flavor and nuance to your statements. So instead of just dryly listing actions, they let us express really complex concepts. Things like ability, permission, advice, possibility, and obligation. Examples like, I can swim, you should study, or we must wear seatbelts all rely on these tiny powerhouses to get the exact meaning across.
Section 1. The Golden Grammar Rule. Now, the foundation for all of this is built on a simple, unbreakable formula. And honestly, this is going to make your life so much easier. Here it is. Modal verb plus the base form of the verb. That is literally it. You always pair your modal directly with the most basic dictionary form of your main verb. No S at the end, no ing, absolutely no ed. It's a wonderfully simple rule that keeps your English grammar incredibly clean.
Let's actually see this golden rule in action. So, she can dance. Notice it's not she can dances, right? He should study, not he should studying. And they must leave now. In every single one of these cases, the main verb stays in its pure, unaltered base form. Seriously, lock this rule into your brain right now, and you'll basically never mess up your modal sentence structure again.
Section 2. Meet the 8 modals. All right, let's open up that toolbox and meet the first half of our roster. Can and could are your absolute go-tos for ability and requests. Can handles current ability or basic permission, like I can speak English or can I open the window. Now could shifts gears a bit. It handles past ability, like she could ride a bike when she was 5. But it also works brilliantly as a really polite request, like could you help me please? Then we've got may and might. These are perfect for navigating permission and possibility. May is highly polite. Think about asking a teacher, may I come in? Or stating a strong possibility, it may rain today. Might, on the other hand, dials that possibility down just a notch. It's a smaller possibility, like we might visit Grandma tomorrow. You know, it's not guaranteed, but hey, it's on the table.
Moving right along to the second half. Must lays down the law. It is all about strong obligations and absolute necessities. If a rule says, you must wear your school uniform, yeah, there is zero negotiating there. Or as a moral necessity like, we must be kind to everyone. Next up, should. This one is much gentler. It offers advice rather than a strict command. Think of it as a strong recommendation. You should eat healthy food, or he should go to bed early. Finally, will and would seamlessly handle future plans and our personal preferences. Will locks in a future action. I will call you tomorrow. While would is just fantastic for extremely polite requests or stating what you prefer. Like offering a guest to drink with, would you like some juice? Or ordering at a restaurant by saying, I would like a sandwich.
Section 3. Quick modal practice. Okay, you've got the knowledge, so let's break the fourth wall here and do a quick interactive practice together. You blank wear a helmet when riding a bike. Think about the function here for a second. This is a strong safety obligation. Which modal verb fits perfectly into that blank? And the correct answer is must. Fantastic job if you guessed that, because, you know, wearing a helmet isn't just a casual suggestion. It is a strict safety necessity. You must wear a helmet. Great work. Let's try another one. Blank, you help me with my homework? Okay, what is the absolute best helping verb to use if you want to make this a very polite request? Spot on. The answer is could. Starting the sentence with could is just the perfect way to respectfully ask for assistance without being pushy. Okay, for our final practice round. I blank play the piano. Which word belongs here to express a current personal ability? You nailed it. It's can. I can play the piano, proudly showing off exactly what you currently have the ability to do. Hey, If you got those right, you are well on your way to mastering the whole shebang.
Section 4. Summary and next steps.
As we wrap up this explainer, let's condense everything we just talked about into the ultimate cheat sheet. Seriously, feel free to take a screenshot of this list right now. Practicing these exact pairings, knowing instinctively when to use can for ability versus must for obligation, is absolutely the best way to elevate your English skills. Keep this handy for your daily conversations. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder as you go about your day. How will or might you use your new modal verb superpowers today? You are now fully equipped to communicate with perfect nuance out there in the real world. Thank you so much for